It's hard to believe that we are already at the halfway mark of the 2021-2022 iRacing.com World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series World Championship. Halfway to crowning a world championship, or world champion, I should say, and halfway to writing someone a $10,000 check. Tonight, Sim Racing's 35 Best take on one of the few tracks that has hosted a real-life World of Outlaws event every single year since the series' inception. It's the Williams Grove Speedway here in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and we are glad to have you along for the ride. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chase Rodman, getting prepared for tonight's 35-lap affair here at the biggest track that we will see all season long. As always, joining me on the broadcast is our friend Justin Prince. And, well, JP, a lot of drama last week and really has turned this championship upside down.
Yeah, that's an understatement and a half, because so far this campaign, consistency has been the theme of what you need to have to win a championship. It's not just as simple as go out and win as many races as possible. For some drivers, it's been a win one week and then a big incident, or at the very most a 7th or 6th place finish the next time out for said winners. It's been that type of a campaign with some of the talent on tap throughout this campaign. Now the big question marks remain with the second half of the season looming. Who will get themselves consistent enough to be able to contend for the title?
Let's take a look at the schedule of events. As we said, tonight is the halfway point of the season. We started the year off at Volusia Speedway Park, then went to the Kokomo Speedway in Indiana, then the Bristol Motor Speedway with the dirt covered on top of it on November 29th, Eldora Speedway last week, and now we are here at Williams Grove Speedway, coming off of a photo finish last week at Eldora. Now we come, like I said earlier, the biggest track these drivers will see all season long, the biggest lap times, the longest laps that we'll see all year. Then we go to Knoxville, Cedar Lake, Fairbury, Weed Sport, and the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now, Justin, and we got to take a look at these championship standings before we get into tonight's first heat race, because my goodness, things are just so close at the top. And, well, Alex Bergeron came into last night. Well, actually, we'll talk about the standings here in just a moment. Let's take a look at the starting grid for heat race number 1. We'll tell you about the standings here in just a moment. But here is the starting lineup for heat race number 1, and it's one of the drivers out of the state of Pennsylvania on the front row, getting the pole position in heat race number 1. The number 5 of Braden Eiler out of Franklin, Pennsylvania, and to the outside of him out of Mount Airy, North Carolina, the double zero car of Kendall Tucker will start second.
Right behind him, Felix Hollywood Roy starts in 3rd position from the province of Quebec, Canada, with Tyler Ducharme starting in 4th position. Tyler Ducharme looks to power his way from the mid-pack.
Row 3 is where we're going to find a number 114 of Landon Cardoza. He's out of Hanford, California, alongside of a fellow Californian, the 14 car of J.D. Brown. He's out of Bakersfield, California.
Right up behind the number 86 machine tonight, that's Timothy Smith looking to power his way from the 7th position total in this respective heat race. He's from the state of Missouri. He'll start alongside Lane Stevens. He's dropping the 033. The Silent Assassin is from Auburn, Washington.
Your final starter, he's going to be from the state of Pennsylvania as well. The 01, that's going to be David Allen out of Dover, PA, trying to put it on for the home state fans here tonight, starting 9th in this one. Now, we talked about those championship point standings here, Justin. Let's take a look at those now. James Edens had a phenomenal week at Eldora with that last lap pass to get up by Hayden Cardwell, and he is now the new points leader here tonight coming into this evening's race, and followed by a whole host of others. But Bergeron, really the big story, having a connection problem in the race, went from 1st in the championship standings all the way down to 4th.
Yeah, to say the very least, he was not happy after that race, with some quick words with them afterwards. Evan C. has also been very quick. He's looking for a chance to move on forward. Keep in mind, he's amongst the drivers within good distance of the top 5 total. But the main thing to keep in mind is Edens, he's now essentially one of the more consistent drivers as a result of the troubles for Bergeron. Only 2 drivers this campaign have finished in the top 10 4 times, Merriman and Majulis. And now, with the season getting towards the midway point, can some of these drivers keep up the pressure is the biggest question on so many's minds.
We'll have to wait and find out here tonight who can keep that consistency up as we are about ready for heat race number 1 here tonight. 10 laps the distance. The top 4 finishers will go straight to the feature event here for round number 5 of the iRacing.com World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series World Championship. Into turns number 1 and 2, your race leader down the back straightaway will be the number 5 of Braden Eiler, followed by the 00 of Kendall Tucker, Felix Roy in third, and there's a good battle going on side by side for fourth. The 114 of Landon Cardoza and the 25 of Tyler Ducharme down the front straightaway.
Your contact, in fact, coming between them as now that forces Ducharme to the middle of the racetrack. He gets a shove with J.D. Brown. Brown to the back of the pack. Keep an eye on Allen, though. He's looking very quick down these straightaways to start. He's now taken 3 wide, but Timothy Smith.
Yeah, Timothy Smith tries the bottom of the racetrack there. Nearly got by David Allen. Allen gets back around him on the outside. Timothy Smith gets back in line, running at about the 6th position. Up front, though, it's all Braden Eiler by over a half of a second as he works down the back straightaway. Now working the front straightaway. He leads over Kendall Tucker, Felix Roy, Landon Cardoza right now, the 4 transfers.
Some great racing so far amongst the top positions. Cardoza trying to run away from that battle going on for 5th. But the pink machine of Tyler Ducharme finally getting some consistency throughout the corners. Now working towards the middle top. He starts to break his way on forward towards Cardoza with 6 to go in the heat.
Yeah, Ducharme definitely looks to be closing in on the 114 of Cardoza. Last time by Cardoza with a 17.120 lap time. Tyler Ducharme a 17.068. So 25 car definitely looks to be closing in. Oh, Felix Roy's off the wall, and he is going to fall out of the transfer position. Tyler Ducharme will go by him.
A very, very rough break for the Jim Beaver Esports machine, who is running very consistently. Just looked like a little too high throughout the corner. Now there's a scrap going on because the intensity level just picked up a touch because Ducharme's now in the bubble as a result. He now tries to pull off and away. Timothy Smith is now up to 5th with that one still scrapping for that spot as well.
We've seen Timothy Smith very good on the half-mile racetrack so far this season, and he's going to try and do the same here tonight at Williams Grove Speedway. Works the middle of the racetrack in 3 and 4, closes in a little bit there on Tyler Ducharme. You know, just in these 10-lap heat races at Williams Grove, a long, long time when you're running 17-second lap times. This is a pretty long heat race, so you can see these guys getting pretty spread out.
Absolutely, and for some of the drivers, too, while some of them are trying the top, keep in mind, in the past, the bottom has come into play a few times at one end or the other, depending on the season of the action. David Allen has just gotten into trouble, but Ducharme, he looks very comfortable to try and hold on to what is now the 4th position. Smith trying the top, coming to the white flag.
Yeah, Timothy Smith looks pretty good here. He's all over Ducharme down the front straightaway. Does he make the move? No, Ducharme will block him into turn number 1. This is the race for the final transfer spot here in heat race number 1. Smith's going to look to the inside down the back straightaway. Ducharme blocks him. Final time into turns 3 and 4. Ducharme drives it in deep, and Timothy Smith going to diamond it off the corner, but Ducharme's going to hang on for 4th. And Smith runs out of fuel across the line, and he is going to lose 2 spots for that mishap right there. Timothy Smith runs out of fuel, does not finish 5th. He will finish 7th. Your race winner was Braden Eiler, then Kendall Tucker, Landon Cardoza, Tyler Ducharme. Your 4 transfers, then J.D. Brown, Lane Stevens, Timothy Smith, David Allen, and Felix Roy. The 9 cars in that one. Now, getting ready for our second heat race. And here we go. On the front row, the number 17 of Cameron Merriman. He'll be on the pole next to the defending winner here at Williams Grove Speedway, the 85 of Tyler Schell.
Next row features one of the young guns to this series. He's been quick throughout the campaign as well. Keep an eye on the number 41. That's Logan Rumsey from Manchester, Pennsylvania. He'll start alongside the South Carolina-based driver. He's the number 33. He's top 5 of the points. He's Evan C.
Your 5th starter in this one comes to us from St. Hyacinthe, Quebec, Canada. The number 1 car of Jeremy St. Louis. And to the outside of him, the number 18 car. That's going to be Austin Selman coming to us from Menominee Falls, Wisconsin.
Next row features the number 50 machine from Newcastle, Australia. That's Clayton Davies, who looks to start alongside the Sherwood, Ohio-based driver, the 91, Ernie Williams Jr.
And your final starter here in this one is going to be the number 22. It's going to be Mason Hannigan out of Pittsburgh, Indiana, in the Black Diamond Motorsports entry as we get set to go here in heat race number 2. Your front row, like we mentioned there, is going to be Cameron Merriman, Tyler Schell, 2 drivers that are up there in the point standings. Merriman comes in tonight, 2nd in those point standings, and has a good shot here to make up some ground on James Edens. Looks like they came in tonight separated by 15 points at the top of the heap. And like you said, Justin, Cameron Merriman, 4 top 10s to start the season. He's the only driver besides Blake Majulis to accomplish that.
Absolutely. It's been very quick when it comes to some of those drivers throughout this campaign. The consistency also very critical throughout the season. Now the main thing's going to be important to see. Can Merriman get himself a fully put together race? He's had good consistency on most of the tracks this season. Speaking with them during an interview last week, where he mentioned he's been trying different things and trying to learn various others while also catching up to real-world action. So I'm very excited to see how this all goes out for Merriman, especially with a lot going for him when it comes to real-world action for next year, but also with how he was considered one of the favorites entering this season about a month or so ago.
Yeah, he's definitely holding up to that pressure here of being one of the favorites as we go to the green flag. Cameron Merriman with a great jump to get out front here in this one as they go down the front straightaway. Everybody trying to find their bearings as they head into turn number one. One car into the outside wall, and that is going to be Evan C., who is running fifth in the point standings heading into the night. He'll drop to the rear of the field. We will stay green as they start to scrap it out for that fourth spot. Clayton Davies, oh wow, what a move by Austin Selman on the bottom of the racetrack.
Austin Selman nearly got squeezed into the fence trying to rip the bottom away from Clayton Davies. And it looks like the bottom started coming to play chase. Remember, in the past, the bottom in 1 and 2, for most of the races held here, it's been very quick down the back stretch. But it's been even quicker if you get the right run off of turns 3 and 4. Selman, he's just joined the train along the top line. Compare that to Davies. Davies is losing ground and then some trying the top still.
I don't think we've seen the end of Selman passing cars here. He's now working on the 41 of Logan Rumsey. Rumsey runs the top off of turn number 4. Now Selman gets a little bit sideways, going to lose some ground down the front straightaway. Clayton Davies trying to close in on him, but he's got the number 1 of Jeremy St. Louis hot on his heels as well. As I say that, Rumsey's closing in for second on Tyler Schell.
An incredible fight now for those drivers. Schell trying to change things up a little bit. Too much as one car up in the wall. Bit of checkups for Jeremy St. Louis, all while that giving breathing space as a result to Clayton Davies. Davies needs to find a way to catch up half a second to join this fray going on for second. Rumsey tries top. Sullivan tries to round the bottom. Watch for the run, forced to check up though for Rumsey.
They were 3 wide for a moment, 1 on the bottom, 1 in the middle, and 1 on the top. Now Rumsey throws a slider on the 85 of Tyler Schell, takes the second spot. Selman's right there, nose to tail, 3 cars down the back straightaway. We're working halfway through this second heat race as Selman works the inside. He's going to get by the former winner here at Williams Grove, moves Selman up to third.
Logan Rumsey, though, nearly knocked the wall down coming off of turn 4. Really went up towards the edge of the Armco barrier. Remember, one driver already has ended the race doing so out of turn 4. Now, just about everyone's migrated to the bottom. Schell has to check up for Sullivan. Sullivan tries to build up the run back on Rumsey. Rumsey now builds up a cushion and a buffer from the cars behind. They're running 17.5s, Rumsey and Sullivan at the moment. Schell's falling off to the 17.7s with the checkups.
Selman not done yet, now working on the 41 of Rumsey. Rumsey gets good drive through the middle of the speedway in 3 and 4, but here in 1 and 2 where Selman, I should say, really makes up his ground as he closes into 2 car lengths down the back straightaway. Selman started 6th on the field, and we were maybe thinking that he could get up to 4th maybe, but now he's working for 2nd all over Rumsey off of turn number 4.
White flag is out, final lap for this respective heat race coming up in Merriman. He's walked away and then some with the pace, quicker by a 10th plus compared to the pack. But Rumsey, it's not done for second quite yet. Rumsey trying to play defense for one final time to the corner. Sullivan tries the middle line, not enough to close up. Merriman wins the heat. Rumsey, along with Sullivan and Tyler Schell, move on.
Behind them, heading on one of our last chance qualifiers, the number 50 of Clayton Davies, the 91 of Ernie Williams. Getting ready for our 3rd heat race here tonight, Justin. Let's take a look at the...
Yes, indeed we will, as these drivers get ready for tonight's action. Another Australia-based driver from Londonderry, specifically Brendan Shute, starts on the pole for this respective heat. Brendan Shute, keep in mind, he's been very quick for a lot of these races over the past couple weeks. He'll start alongside the Drummondville, Quebec-based driver and Alex Bergeron. Row number 2, right on behind, will feature the number 51, that's Clayton Tilley, who will be the second of 2 drivers on the inside row from Australia. He starts alongside the 07, the driver who lost on the final lap in a drag race to the stripe. Contender for several different types of dirt cars, he's Hayden Cardwell. 5th position tonight goes to number 4 machine, Ross Turbo Kaiser from San Jose, California, while alongside of the number 74 machine tonight, once again, that's Adam Elby who looks to try and work for the outside line. Keep an eye on row 4 as well, because Aiden Beerline starts at the back of the pack. Number 13 machine from Woodford, Virginia. Rounding out the field tonight, he did not put in a qualifying time, one of the few to do so, as a result of some troubles in the session. From Asheville, New York, it's the Represent LTD machine, Blake Majulis. Let's look top to bottom once again at your running order for heat number 3 for tonight's action. These drivers get ready for the respective pace laps to get themselves ready to go once more. And the interesting mark is going to be about how drivers like Bergeron try and recover after some of the adversity faced last time out. Bergeron had decent pace in the middle of the top 10 before his technical issues ended his race early during a caution flag period. That dropped him back, as mentioned, 22 points behind in the standings. He's been able to close gaps like that before in the past, but keep in mind, there's a lot of emphasis and importance being put on by Bergeron and company to be able to perform at this level in this championship. Keep an eye as well on Hayden Cardwell. One of his best finishes of the season. He's 7th at the points entering tonight, 225 points coming in as well. So the drivers just about all set to get back to racing for heat number 3 for tonight's action. Here from Williams Grove Speedway, in control of the field, it's Braden Schuttel alongside Alex Bergeron, the number 76. Ready to get onto the loud pedal. iRacing pace truck is off. Green flag is out. Heat racing, we go in contact in the lead already. Bergeron with a massive save. He tries to hold on in front of the pack as he moves to the bottom of the racetrack. He wraps the very inside. Cardwell rips the top, trying to get side by side, but can't down the back.
And they were 4 wide for a moment down the back straight. One car into the infield, over the infield wall. That was Blake Majulis, who was up there in the championship standings, and his heat race will come to an end. Up front, though, Braden Schuttel doing a good job. Runs the bottom of the speedway, trying to take Bergeron's line away in 1 and 2. Here comes Cardwell trying to run the top side in 1 and 2.
A lot of tempers now flaring up to the inside, though, for the lead as Schuttel tries to slam the door shut on Bergeron. Keep in mind, just earlier last week when it came to some racing in a special event, Bergeron was not afraid to dive right to the very inside, to the very edge of the racing surface to make the pass. He's trying to do the same right here to Schuttel, trying to force him off the bottom. Nearly does, coming off of turn 4, near side by side approaching turn 1.
Yeah, Braden Schuttel definitely feeling the heat here from the 3-time series champion, and Alex Bergeron will take the lead off of turn number 2. Move Bergeron up to the top spot. Now here comes Cardwell, going to try and work the inside as well as Schuttel goes to the top side. Cardwell can't get off the bottom very well in turn number 4, but will still try and work to get by him for the second spot.
Still battling hard to the inside. Braden Schuttel trying to wrap that bottom. Bergeron with a better run as here comes Cardwell getting the launch down the backstretch. He tries to send it around the middle of the racetrack to get himself a decent run for turn 4 exit. He does. Braden Schuttel now starting to struggle a bit halfway through the heat. He's already dropped back to 3rd.
4th place runner right now is the 74 of Adam Elby. He's not too far behind this grouping of cars, just in case they get together. The 74 could be in a good position to pick up a couple more spots, but he is safe in a transfer for now as Bergeron continues to show the way, this time by a lap time of 17.508 to Hayden Cardwell's 17.682. So the inside of the speedway, definitely the preferred line here in heat race number 3.
Big bomb I noticed there from Schuttel, though. He is really having to put a ton of wheel into to make sure this thing stays wrapped to the bottom. Now LB looks to take away 3rd spot, blocking to the middle of the racetrack. LB goes topside instead, this time in the Swindell Speed Lab machine. Trying to squeeze on down for the exit. A touch near contact coming off the corner. Coming to 2 laps to go. LB nearly clears on by into turn 3 as Schuttel tries to park the bus, can't.
Elby makes the middle part of the racetrack work, and he will take that 3rd spot away from Braden Schuttel. So Schuttel goes from 1st to 4th here. Still in a transfer spot, but definitely not what he was looking for, as Bergeron and Cardwell still out to a pretty sizable advantage over that battle for 3rd, as you see on your screen right now. The 74 of Elby to the inside, Schuttel, and the 76 goes to the top side as they work down the front straightaway with a white flag in there.
Final lap for this respective heat race. Alex Bergeron, he's also started to pull away about 0.6 of a second over Hayden Cardwell. A strong showing for the number 12 off the final corner. He'll get to celebrate as Bergeron wins heat 3, taking the win over Hayden Cardwell. 3rd spot goes to Adam Elby. Braden Schuttel, the top 4. The rest of the drivers as they finish out, Clayton Tilley in 5th position tonight. 6th position, Aiden Beerline with Ross Kaiser DNFing along with Blake Majulis. Those were the 8 drivers who took the green flag in Heat 3. That brings us over to Heat 4. And the shooting star, Rylan Gray, looks to try and get himself some composure together on the sim after some success in the real world just about a few days ago. 06 starts on the pole for Heat number 4. He'll start alongside the number 99 machine tonight. The number 99 machine driven by Gregory LeMay. He'll look from 2nd position. Chris Sebeski starts in 3rd position tonight. The number 21 machine is from West St. Paul, Manitoba, Canada, alongside the 000. That is Justin Sherman's machine. Then, behind him, keep an eye on the number 52. The Santa Rosa, California-based driver James Edens has a chance for history entering tonight. He's tied for 2nd all-time in series victories with Tim Ryan, 8 in his career. He'll start alongside the number 7 tonight. That's Klickman Sport machine of Colin Cure. Row number 4 rounds things out. Shea Powell looks to drive the 69 machine for the back along with the number 48. That's driven by Dylan Yeager. Top to bottom look once more at your running order for this one as these drivers have one additional pace lap before they get rolling behind the iRacing pace truck. Again, keep in mind when it comes to a few of these competitors, it's been a stellar season for some, like Edens, who's picked up the pace the past couple weeks, late run especially. But also keep an eye on Dylan Yeager. He did not have a time in qualifying, but he has showcased in races this campaign. He does have the pace in that Hamilton Square, New Jersey-based driver's car. Coming up towards the restart this time around, and the official start, should say, for this respective heat. Again, keep in mind, these drivers do have points they score in these respective heats. For those tuning in for the first time, 8 for the winner, 7 for 2nd, 6 for 3rd. Single points on down to the end of the top 8. But it's Rylan Gray in control of a heat. He's off and away. We're back racing from Williams Grove. And a great start to the outside for Gregory LeMay, trying to keep it side by side. He dives it down to the inside. Gray tries to wheel it up on the top. Here comes LeMay with the pole. He clears on by and then some of the elbows up Sim Sport machine. Gregory LeMay with a beautiful run. He leads the first lap of the heat as here comes Sebeski.
Yeah, the race for second's about to get interesting here, Justin. They go 3 wide. There's your points leader, the 52, James Edens, through the middle of the racetrack. He'll get 2 cars in 1 and 2. Move James Edens up to 2nd. A huge move right there for him as he looks to close in now on the 99 car of Gregory LeMay. The race for 3rd. Whoa, they're 3 wide down the front straightaway. Some contact between Sherman and Sebeski. They hang on to it, but the race for 4th is about to get interesting.
It's getting already interesting, I think you can already say, because they're nearly squeezing each other into turn 3.
New leader.
And the new lead, yes, Edens, where did he come from? He's caught up and passed LeMay already into turn 1.
Wow, James Edens must not have had the qualifying setup loaded in earlier on because, man, oh man, his car has come to life here in the heat race from, 5th up into the race lead here. The 52 car is on the rails tonight at Williams Grove Speedway. Gregory LeMay in 2nd. Then Rylan Gray in 3rd, Justin Sherman 4th, and now Chris Sebeski is trying to close in on Sherman to get by for the 4th and final transfer spot.
Losing a lot of ground, though, through turn 2. Justin Sherman right on behind them, pulling some runs as well. Here's LeMay, meanwhile, in the battle going on for the race lead. He's still trying topside in the number 99. But as we've seen so far, Chase, if you can get the bottom rolling, especially in 1 and 2, that seems to be the quicker way around right now with the track progression. And some of the drivers who prefer the top, like Gray early on, they're dropping spots like quickly. Gray is now in the bubble spot.
Well, Sebeski got upside down last time by in turn number 2. He was running in the 5th position, so Gray has a pretty good cushion back to the 48 of Dylan Yeager and the 69 of Shea Paulo. Those 2 drivers battling for 5th. Here's the race for 3rd on your screen now. The 0Z of Justin Sherman on the bottom. The number 06 of Rylan Gray on the top side. They're trying to go side by side, but Sherman's got 3rd. Man, we've seen great speed out of him on the big tracks as well this season.
Indeed, we have. Remember, a few weeks back, he had some great pace until the closing stages. Bristol comes to mind. Here's the look at what happened to Sebeski. He went upside down. Colin Cure also out of this heat already. With 2 laps to go, though, the battle's still going on for 3rd spot. Edens and LeMay have pulled nearly a second plus of an advantage over these drivers. Sherman trying to play defensive now, wanting some decent starting position for the future, it looks like. Not wanting to give up the spot to Gray coming to the white.
Yeah, every spot is huge in these heat races. If you lose a position, that's going to be 2 rows on the A-main starting grid, and Sherman knows it. He wants to have the best track position he can for tonight's 35-lap affair as he worked down the back straightaway one more time. Edens already into turn number 3 and 4. Off the 4th corner, Edens goes from 5th to the win in heat race number 4. Second spot will go to Gregory LeMay, Justin Sherman in 3rd. Rylan Gray, final transfer out of heat race number 4 in the 06.
Decent run for some of these drivers now to get themselves into the feature tonight. As mentioned, Dylan Yeager, expected him to be quick. He only got up to 5th, though, for the checkered. Shea Power, the last driver running. Sabeski, Kier, ended up DNFing in this one, Chase. But that brings us to the LCQs to see who gets themselves the last spots for the feature.
Yeah, here we go. 12 laps the distance here. Just the top 2 finishers out of these next 2 races will move on to the back of the A-main. Here is the lineup out of Bakersfield, California. The number 14 of J.D. Brown on the front row next to the 51 of Clayton Tilley.
Next row features Lane Stevens. He'll start alongside Aiden Beerline, who starts in P4.
In the 3rd row, 5th starter out of Rocheport, Missouri, the 86 of Timothy Smith. And to the outside out of San Jose, California, it's the number 4 of Ross Kaiser.
Dover, Pennsylvania is the home to David Allen in the 01 machine. He'll start alongside the 127 of Blake Majulis after his incident in his heat. That leaves one air driver left in this heat chase. That's Felix Roy, who also was in good positions to advance in his heat before getting involved with contact with the wall out of turn 4 early.
Yeah, Felix Roy still, I believe, trying to make his first feature of this season, and it looked like he was going to have a good shot at it in his heat race, but like you said, got in the wall in 1 and 2 and got his car upside down. I think the car to watch here in this one there, Justin, is the 127 of Blake Majulis. Obviously, he got the win at the opening round at Volusia Speedway Park, came in tonight 3rd in the point standings, and was one of just 2 drivers to finish in the top 10 in every race so far this season. So a big moment here for Blake Majulis. He's got to come from 8th and finish at least in 2nd place.
Yeah, that's going to be so critical right now. And keep in mind, as we've seen in the past, some trouble has been afoot in some of these races for the LCQ. If he's able to get himself a good launch, but also find the holes cleanly and efficiently, I wouldn't be surprised if he does what James Edens did, who didn't qualify the best for his heat, keep in mind. What Edens did in his heat, went 30 wide with the cars who started in the 2nd row, passed by them like they were standing still, immediately attack for the race lead. Majulis, I think, has the pace to do so if he gets a clean launch.
And mind you, Justin, this is a long race. 12 laps for a last chance qualifier at Williams Grove. That is a long time on the racetrack here to fight it out for these 2 positions that are going to the A-main event. So we've got 9 starters here in this one. They all make the call, including Felix Roy, who starts at the tail end of the field here. So let's see what happens. This could be very interesting. If everybody can keep their wheels on the ground, we could have a phenomenal battle all the way throughout this 12-lap affair. Here we go. The pace truck is off. J.D. Brown, Clayton Tilley. The front row green flag is out. J.D. Brown is on the throttle, gets a good jump. Here we go into turn number 1. Let's see what happens.
And up to the top side already go Tilley and company. Majulis is already jumping his way up inside the top 5. As expected, a good launch and a good pull already. He's already approaching the bubble spots. 3 wide for that 2nd transfer spot. Stevens checks up Beerline. Majulis with a bad exit behind him, though.
Yeah, it's hard to... Oh, we got some contact, and Timothy Smith goes around off the front bumper of David Allen. Those 2 drivers fall to the tail end of the field. We continue on the race for the lead, getting good. The 14 of J.D. Brown feeling the heat from the 51 of Clayton Tilley around the outside. You've got a new leader down the front straightaway.
Clayton Tilley trying to get in a drag race, though. Brown trying to send it hard for the slide job. Can he park it? No, he can't get up there. Tilley drives on by. Lane Stevens moves up to 2nd. J.D. Brown tries to recover to get 2nd back now through 3 and 4. Can't do so. Lane Stevens takes advantage to take 2nd.
And just like that, J.D. Brown goes from the pole sitter to now outside of a transfer position. Back to the inside of the 33 of Lane Stevens goes the 14 of J.D. Brown, Aiden Beerline, and the 127 of Blake Majulis right there as well. Majulis with a big send in at turn number 3. Can't clear Beerline. He's going to slide into 5th down the front straightaway as J.D. Brown loses touch with the 2nd place car of Lane Stevens now.
Last time by, he turned about a 10th slower of a lap time. For comparison, J.D. Brown, a major slide off the corner, nearly turned to the inside wall, it looked like. Beerline now has a chance. Here's the look from the middle of the pack. Meanwhile, though, as Majulis He started to get stuck in this line, though. Not able to get a job done yet to make a pass. He's trying one, though, to the bottom.
He'll try and work the inside of the racetrack. You know, if everybody else is on the top, you might as well try something different. It didn't work for Majulis right there. He goes back to the top in 3 and 4, side by side in front of him for third. And here comes Kaiser from out of nowhere. He'll look to the inside of Majulis, and now he gets sideways off the corner and loses some ground.
Keep in mind, those drivers made contact in the respective heat race. That was what sent Majulis to the back in his finishing order. Majulis now trying to still get himself a chance to get up to these two fighting in front, though. Beerline stuck behind Brown. Majulis forced to check up. Nearly all of them nearly ran up on top of each other as Majulis tries to make a pass.
Yeah, Barry.
Does.
Oh, man, that was an aggressive move right there for Blake Majulis. He does make it by Aiden Beerline. Beerline loses another spot to Ross Kaiser, but you got to think, if you're Blake Majulis, you're third in the point standings. You have to make an aggressive maneuver like that to get yourself in contention for that second spot. But, man, looking up the road, that's a long ways from fourth up to second right now, Justin.
He'll need some luck. He needs a lot of luck, in fact, right now, based on how things are faring out. Tilley's got breathing space. Stevens, though, he's starting to struggle a little bit around the top of the racetrack, nearly scraped the Armco wall, going down through the exit of turn 4. So if Stevens holds on, he'll be in a decent spot. But right now, if you're Brown or Majulis, you need a mistake from that 033.
And I have seen Lane Stevens hit the wall with the right rear a couple times down here on this end of the speedway in particular. Oh, as I say that, Majulis does it. He keeps on going, but like you said, Lane Stevens needs to be picture perfect here these next, a lap and a half or so to be able to make it into the feature event. J.D. Brown is about 6/10 behind him as they work down the back straightaway, heading for the white flag this time by Stevens. Really tight on the entry right there, but hangs on to it.
And Stevens has started bleed time. So is Clayton Tilley, though. Clayton Tilley started to back up a little bit. How about 3/10 now, the separation between the top two? Stevens has found something. Tilley's got something going on. He just lost another 10th through that corner.
Might be out of fuel, close to it at least, Justin. We'll see what happens. Final time off of turn number 4, and Clayton Tilley looks like he is going to win it just barely over Lane Stevens. So Clayton Tilley and Lane Stevens, the top two in that one, that will move on to the back of the feature event. J.D. Brown and your third place driver in points, Blake Majulis, is not going to be in the show tonight. Ross Kaiser, Aiden Beerline, David Allen, Felix Roy, and Timothy Smith, the finishing order in LCQ number 1. Now, LCQ number 2, it was Clayton Tilley that won the first one. It's going to be Clayton Davies on the pole of this one, next to the driver out of Hamilton Township, New Jersey, the 48 of Dylan Yeager to the outside.
Second row features Ernie Williams Jr. He's from Sherwood, Ohio. He'll start alongside the number 69 machine. That's Shay Powell, who looks to try and find himself in victory lane in another LCQ.
Your third row is going to be consisted of the 22 car. That's going to be Mason Hannigan out of Pittsboro, Indiana. And to the outside of him from West St. Paul, Manitoba, Canada, the number 21 car of Chris Sebeski.
An Air Canadian starts next behind him. Jeremy St. Louis, the Quebec-based driver, starts alongside Carlin Cure in the number 7. Evan C., after his crash early in his heat, rounds out the 9 drivers in this one.
And it's almost a repeat of the last LCQ, Justin. We've got Evan C. this time starting at the back of the field. He came into the night 5th in the point standings, also with 1 win to his credit this year at Kokomo Speedway. He will start in 9th position, has to get up into the top 2. But like we said, 12 laps. That last LCQ, Justin, that thing was a long time right there for those drivers, and a lot of time to try and make up some ground. So we'll see if Evan C. can put that to good use here. But Dylan Yeager and Clayton Davies with the best seat in the house here for this one, going to try and just hang on to those top 2 spots throughout this 12-lap affair.
Yeah, and as we've seen, some of the drivers really struggling, it seemed, a little bit with the grip levels. A couple were getting very, very loose and squirrely, it seemed, right through the slick, trying to ride the bottom of the racetrack. A couple getting almost too tight, whether from the aero or whether it just pushing a bit hard along the outside towards the edge of the wall, in fact. But with the clouds settling on in, keep in mind, this is one of the coolest track condition race days we've had this season. I'm curious how this all progresses now, with these drivers having a lot of the slick bouncing around and sliding about, and that bottom really rolling in 1 and 2 for some.
You see these drivers rolling down the backstretch. On the right side of the straightaway there, you could tell it's pretty black and gray. That's where it's slick. Those drivers do not want to run there on the straightaways. They're going to be spinning the tires all the way down. You see a lot of these guys go about a lane off the wall where it's that good grip, that good dirt to try and grab a hold of. So that'll be interesting to see how that works out throughout this 12-lap race. As we go green off of turn number 4, Clayton Davies will jump out with the early lead as they head into turns 1 and 2. Everybody going all over the racetrack to try and find some grip.
Jaeger amongst those drivers fighting some. There's what you're talking about, though. Right down the straightaway, trying to keep off the wall, as well as a couple others. Mason Hannigan, though, he's now looking for second position. Trying to roll the very bottom against the inside wall. Moves up to the slick to get a run and a slide. Through 1 and 2, still can't get the run, as here comes the Hornet's Nest.
Looks like Hannigan's got the wing pulled back a little bit here. Going to try and roll the bottom of the speedway throughout this LCQ as he's going to nose ahead of Dylan Jaeger for a moment. Oh, he gets a tap from behind. He's around. Ernie Williams Jr. got into the back of Mason Hannigan, spun him around. Williams is upside down. Also involved, I believe, was the 69 car, Shea Pallow. He keeps going, but really that shuffles the field up quite a bit.
A lot of it, in fact, and may have just helped Evan C's case from having to start at the back of this LCQ. He's now in contention for the transfer spot. A big bubble for St. Louis as he tries to get himself out of the slick for entry this time. C elects to try and ride the middle. C makes that line work to get third.
Evan C. needs to get by one more car if he wants to put it in the show here tonight. The next one on his radar is the 48 of Dylan Jaeger down the front straightaway. It's still Clayton Davies with the lead. Jaeger in second, and then C in third, and right behind him is the number 1 of Jeremy St. Louis. You could tell that C's closing in a little bit here as he's going all over the racetrack trying to find grip. Here comes Jeremy St. Louis back to the inside in turn 3.
And that's not going to help either one of them as they're fighting very hard and losing ground. In fact, to Dylan Jaeger at this rate. C holds on in the midst of turns 3 and 4. He tries the middle line through the midst of 1 and 2. Couldn't get up top, though. St. Louis again finds a great line. That very top line along the cushion really ripping at some points now for some.
And it looks like Davies might be slowing down just a little bit here as Jaeger's closed in on him down the front straight. But here's the race going on for third. The 33 of Evan C. goes to the inside. He'll try and slide up in front of Jeremy St. Louis. He'll pill roll the middle of the speedway, tries that out, and St. Louis goes back by him on the outside.
Yeah, right now they have already lost a second to Dylan Jaeger. St. Louis seems to be coming into the grip levels into what his car seems to be preferring, what he prefers right now, because he's starting to pick up a little bit of that ground back on Jaeger. Compare that to C. C seems to be dropping off. It looks like he and Majulis having a bit of struggles right now in that regard once this track is this slick.
Yeah, this is just a seesaw battle going on. One lap, these guys will catch the top two. The next lap, the top two will pull away from them. It's just so hard to hit your marks around this racetrack, and it's showing here in this LCQ as St. Louis really got through 1 and 2 very nicely right there and closed into maybe 5 car lengths on Dylan Jaeger's into the wall, and here comes St. Louis off of turn number 4.
Here comes the Quebec-based driver, St. Louis with a bobble. He goes for the slide job. Off towards the top for the middle of turn 2. On the exit, Jaeger goes for the switch. Crossing him up to get the run back. Jaeger moves up top. Both move up top this time. St. Louis tries to diamond it off the corner. He can't get the run quite yet, though, on Jaeger. 2 to go.
This is not over yet. Dylan Jaeger's feeling the pressure from Jeremy St. Louis as they work the top side of the racetrack off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. He pulls 2 car lengths on the number 1 car back into 3 and 4. Mind you, the 50 car, I should say, of Clayton Davies really not too far ahead. The white flag is down. St. Louis got a piece of the wall off of turn number 4.
Can Jaeger hold on for one more time around as there's the contact behind him? St. Louis just hit the wall again. Jaeger gets a chance to breathe. All while Clayton Davies, he gets the chance to try and celebrate. Clayton Davies wins this LCQ.
Davies gets the win, followed by Dylan Jaeger's. Third spot goes to the number 1 of Jeremy St. Louis, then Evan C., Chris Sebeski, Carlin Cure, Shea Pallow, Mason Hannigan, and Ernie Williams Jr. will not finish this race. So that is it. We've got all of our preliminary action complete here. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on all of iRacing's various social media platforms and DirtVision.com. We will come back with tonight's 35-lap feature from here at Williams Grove Speedway.
Shows on dirt, World of Outlaws sprints, late models, and Super Dirt Car Series. You also get Dirt Car Summer Nationals and weekly shows from America's top tracks. Dirt Vision has the best all-around live coverage with flexible options for casual and hardcore fans. No commitments, cancel anytime, apps for most devices. Get your Fast Pass now at DirtVision.com. Every week, Dirt Vision brings you the best racing coverage from America's top tracks. You get high-speed thrills at the Big Half Miles at Williams Grove, where the Pennsylvania Posse roams, and Knoxville Raceway, the sprint car capital of the world. There's also wheel-to-wheel action at Attica Raceway Park. Jacksonville Speedway's quarter-mile bull ring, and the tight turns at Huset's. Sprint cars are the main event, but there's plenty of other grassroots racing to satisfy every fan. See local drivers working to become the stars of tomorrow. Williams Grove, Knoxville, Attica, Jacksonville, Huset's. These tracks make up the weekly racing family, all season long on Dirt Vision.
Welcome back to Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, the home of the Williams Grove Speedway for round number 5 of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series World Championship here on iRacing.com. As you can see behind our graphic there, drivers getting themselves prepared, making their final setup adjustments here as there was some track prep done, and these drivers trying to get their cars dialed in here before tonight's 35-lap main event. Already some drama with 2 drivers that were in the top 5 in the point standings not making the show tonight, Justin. That's really going to shake things up.
Especially with their history of working together. But the question is going to be, how will these drivers start in this feature?
Yeah, let's take a look on the pole. Looking for his first win of the season. It's the driver out of Franklin, Pennsylvania. The number 5 of Braden Eiler will be on the pole. And on the outside of him from Ellicott City, Maryland, the number 17 of Cameron Merriman.
From Drummondville, Quebec, Alex Bergeron will start in the 3rd position tonight. He'll start alongside the back-to-back race winner. Past couple rounds, that's Santa Rosa, California's James Edens.
Your 5th starter comes to us from Mount Airy, North Carolina. It's the 00 car of Kendall Tucker for Swindell Speed Lab Esports. And on the outside of him, another one of our Pennsylvania drivers from Manchester, PA, the 41 of Logan Rumsey.
From Knoxville, Tennessee, that's where you can find row 4 to the inside, the young missile, Hayden Cardwell. He'll start alongside the number 99 machine tonight. That is Gregory, Baby Animal, LeMay.
Moving on to row number 5, your 9th starter comes to us from Hanford, California. That's the 114 of Landon Cardoza. And to the outside of him from Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, it's the number 18 of Austin Selman.
Right on behind from Tracy, California, Adam Elby starts in the 11th spot. Keep an eye as well on the 000 alongside him. That driver is Justin Sherman.
Moving on to the 7th row out of Castleton, Vermont. It's the 25 car of Tyler Ducharme. And the defending winner here at Williams Grove Speedway with this series will start to his outside, the 85 out of Millersburg, Pennsylvania. It's Tyler Schell.
Right on behind, the number 76 machine takes the green flag after some ups and downs in his races. He is from Australia. He's Braden Shute. He'll start alongside Rylan Gray's 06 machine. The Indiana-based driver starts in the midst of row 8.
Well, Justin, we're going to hurry up with the lineup because we got some insane news here. We got Clayton Tilley, Clayton Davies, Lane Stevens, Dylan Yeager, the starting order in this one. But your points leader, James Edens, has just lost connection to the iRacing server. The same exact thing that happened to Alex Bergeron last week that took him out of the points lead. It happens to James Edens here on the grid as he tries to get back onto the racetrack here. But wow, that is literally insane that has happened 2 weeks in a row.
I don't believe it. I absolutely don't believe it, and there's going to be a lot of frustrated people in that camp right now because when you have that happen back-to-back weeks, it can be very frustrating. That, again, has blown the championship wide open and takes the chance for some history out of the equation for at least tonight.
Wowzers. Well, here we go. Round number 5 of the iRacing.com World of Outlaws and NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series World Championship is underway as we work down the front straightaway here at Williams Grove Speedway. Your race leader, number 5 of Braden Eiler, followed closely by the 17 of Cameron Merriman, the 12 of Alex Bergeron, the 41. Oh, we got yellow. Caution's out.
Massive trouble in turn 2, Chase. The back half of the field piled up after LeMay had appeared. May have went way too hard into the corner, hit the back end of Kendall Tucker, and then looped into the midst of the racing groove.
And that could not have worked out any better for James Edens. Oh, man, I thought he was going to be on the lead lap, but I think something went wrong as we take a look at the replay here. Let's see what goes on into turn number 1. And LeMay, Cardwell, wow, a whole host of others. A huge accident on the opening lap here at Williams Grove Speedway, and that is going to be the end of the night for quite a few of those drivers. And like I was saying, James Edens, I thought was going to make it back onto the racetrack, but something has broken on that car, I think. He's now going, but he is going to be a lap down.
Yeah, Edens, it looks like just being able to rush back onto the racetrack, so this does help him a bit. But here's the problem with that, Chase. He essentially would need to unlap himself to have a true shot now in this race. It's going to be very difficult from this point forward. I believe he's just rolled back to the pit lane is what makes some more adjustments here. But now restarted. Already Dylan Yeager out of the action as a result of that big incident to start off this feature.
Wow, I cannot believe what has transpired here over the course of the last 5 minutes. That is just unbelievable. 2 weeks in a row that our points leader has lost connection to the server. We'll see what happens here. But Braden Eiler up front, the young driver out of Franklin, Pennsylvania, is leading the way. One career victory in this series to his credit came, I think last season or maybe 2 seasons ago at the Knoxville Raceway. You see him right there driving for Elbows Up Sim Sport, and along with the sponsors of Roofco Indy, Wicked Brands, and BS Airlines. Would be a big win here tonight for that driver in his home state. Cameron Merriman right now in second. He's really in the best position here to take advantage of the misfortune for James Edens.
Yeah, this is absolutely huge for him, and knowing the demeanor for Cameron Merriman, I can't wait to see how he'd react after, if he can get this done. But you also have to consider for Braden Eiler, it's been an up and down campaign so far for a one-time series winner. This is a big opportunity for him too. He said it after qualifying. He felt like he did something right at the end of that session. He's carried that momentum and weight since then.
Let's see if we get some green flag laps strung together. We got 1 complete and 34 to go. Braden Eiler will lead the field off of turn number 4 back to the green flag. Single file restart as we work down the front straightaway. Everybody going to try and find their way down into turns 1 and 2. Up front, Eiler goes to the top, followed by the 17 of Merriman as they work down the back straightaway.
Looking to build up the run, though, Alex Bergeron. He's been trying to really wrap the bottom once the track has slickened off. Compared to some of the runs, some are already trying to build up that bottom groove. Seeing right now Kendall Tucker amongst those trying so in turns 3 and 4. Dylan Yeager gets a bird's eye view from the pit exit as these drivers rip the top.
As they work down the back straightaway, Braden Eiler going to try and continue to work the top side. But like you said, Justin, when does the bottom of the racetrack start to come in? Your race leader bounces off the wall in the front straightaway, hangs onto it, and is still going to lead. But here comes Merriman. He'll look to the inside, throws a slider. You got a new leader off of turn number 2. It's Cameron Merriman.
Merriman not done yet, though. Eiler now tries to give a later squeeze. He goes for the slide job back. Up to the top line. Here comes the cut for Merriman. Merriman not able to get the run. As we've seen in the past, that front straightaway stretch, you can't get the biggest of runs at times. You can, though, right up the back here. Merriman with a great run off of turn 2. This time he keeps even down the straight.
And he will block the maneuver from Braden Eiler, so Cameron Merriman will lead on lap number 6. Braden Eiler back into second, and now into the clutches of number 12 car of Alex Bergeron. They work the top of the racetrack in 1 and 2. But like I was saying before they started the battle, the bottom is going to become a factor at some point in this race. The first one to find it, though, could possibly win this race here tonight as they continue to work their way around, this time completing lap number 7.
Yeah, right now you see some of the drivers like Bergeron sticking up to the very top. Remember, he was wrapping that very bottom right next to the inside Armco barrier the entire way around, as well as some of the tires for the pit entry you see there along that barrier. Bergeron looking like he's starting to get more and more comfortable with that, starting to really slicken up around some of the corners and down the straightaways right up to the wall as Rumsey tries to dive.
Yeah, Rumsey continuing his impressive campaign here in 2021 as he's all over Bergeron, running for the third spot as they work off of turn number 4. Cameron Merriman will put lap number 9 to bed, and Kendall Tucker rounds out your top 5 right now in the 0-0, but a long green flag run looking like here. I don't think these guys get the lap traffic just because this track is so big, Justin, but a long green flag run here, you got to think maybe did these guys put enough fuel in? We've seen that in the past here at this track where guys won't put enough fuel in and they run out at the later part of the race.
Yeah, that will be absolutely huge. As Clayton Tilley has just had an issue of note. He was running 16th. He's now put his car into the garage area for now. Oh, wow. We look at LB. He leads the second pack of cars currently with Landon Cardoza, Austin Sullivan, Braden Shute, and Tyler Ducharme all scrapping about, running various different lines. None of them running identical groups right now. Some of them do have some variation to whether they're running the middle or the top, and in some cases the bottom, like Shute.
The defending winner of this race, Tyler Schell, just cracked into the top 10. He'll get by the 0-6 of Rylan Gray as they continue to duke it out up here as the 114 of Landon Cardoza, the 18 of Selman, and the 76 of Shute. Those guys really going at it through turns 1 and 2. Schute's going to go by the 18 of Selman, move him up to 8th for a moment. Selman driving back around him on the outside down the backstretch.
Shute seems to be picking up some pace compared to before. Remember, he really struggled at the end of his respective heat after starting off strong and holding off Bergeron for a few laps. Dropped to the back end of the transfer positions. Starting to seem like when the track is fresher like this, Schute's got the pace. When it really gets slick and very tough to drive about, that's where it seems that car's had some struggles. Good pass this time on the slide. Shute is up 8 spots already in this feature.
Wow, impressive run here for the 76 of Braden Shute. As we were talking about the last 2 weeks or so, he's really come out of his shell here and has made some really good speed and is turning some heads. So Braden Shute will see if he can keep this up. Looks like he might need a caution. We got a race for the lead up front. I don't know what happened to Merriman, but the 5 of Eilers all over him down into turns 3 and 4. Here comes the slider.
A massive slider for Brendan Eiler. He goes to the top. He hits the wall. He nearly spins Merriman. Eiler holds onto it. He avoids the inside wall. Eiler loses a second and a half with that big bobble off turn 4 off the send.
Oh my goodness, that about took Cameron Merriman right out of this race. That would have been huge for the championship standings. Merriman able to escape with a over 1.5 second lead as they work down the front straightaway as the race for third is still pretty contested. There's the 41 of Rumsey trying to look to the inside of Bergeron.
Bergeron just doesn't seem as comfortable compared to before, really trying the top line compared to that bottom now here. Bit of moisture really has built up at the bottom. Big bobble for Bergeron. Rumsey takes advantage. He takes away third spot. And again, Bergeron tries the top. He's up towards the wall just about this time as Rumsey sticks bottom. Rumsey builds up a buffer though.
And that was an uncharacteristic mistake there from Alex Bergeron. Nearly spun the car around off of turn number 4, falls back to 4th. Kendall Tucker still in the 5th position as your race leader starts to work into some lap traffic here, closing in on the 33 of Lane Stevens and the 0Z of Justin Sherman. Back behind them, really everybody pretty spread out in this one. A good race going on for about 12th and 13th. The Tyler Schell and Clayton Davies side by side as they work down the backstretch into turn number 3.
Great battles all about the racetrack as we see Bergeron starting to fall towards the clutches of Kendall Tucker while Rumsey, he's pulling away. Keep in mind, Rumsey, one of the quickest drivers of the racetrack. Bergeron currently running 18.3s, the leaders 18.2s and 1s for comparison's sake. But the main thing I'm curious about with all this is how will there be the attacks of say battles like this again with the track really filling with traffic? Shute, he just sticks to his line, clears on by, makes it look easy on the bottom.
Yeah, this has been a good battle for the last couple of laps. The 76 and the 74, those two were actually battling in their respective heat race earlier on this evening, and they will continue that duel here in the feature event, working lap number 22. The 74 of Adam Elby from Tracy, California, to try and work the inside groove. Cannot get by the 76 of Braden Shute as they work down the back straightaway. But I'll tell you right now, Justin, I've been watching the lap times, and Braden Eiler closing in quickly on the 17 of Merriman, even after that mistake from earlier.
Senior mistake from LB, but the main thing to emphasize with that is, guess what? The race leader, Cameron Merriman, he's in the midst of a hornet's nest of traffic. We mentioned the lap traffic. He just had to pass by 2 drivers along the top group this time. Eiler's now having to deal with the same traffic a little bit. The difference is Eiler's getting the holes made much more clearer and quicker compared to what Merriman just had to deal with. Now they have some clean track to work with for a good quarter of the racetrack for the next 11 laps to go.
Yeah, they got about a straightaway till the next car up the road. So I think this one's going to be decided between the top two of Cameron Merriman and Braden Eiler. Eiler once again, another 10th off the lead of Cameron Merriman. Man, the number 5 car really, really good on the top side of the speedway. Braden Eiler closing in, closer and closer every single lap. We'll see what he does this time. The last time he tried to make the pass, he nearly crashed his car. But now he's back in the thick of things here with the 17 of Merriman.
Under 10 laps to go as Eiler with the great run off the corner, starting to use that exit as a ramp. Starts to bobble it up towards the top. Both grind the guardrail. Eiler a little too hard, forcing them to check up. Eiler over top, a bit of a bump. Loses some ground down the front straightaway. Under 9 laps to go now. Another huge bit of contact for Eiler.
We talk about how tough it is to run the top of the racetrack here at Williams Grove Speedway on iRacing. Man, these guys cannot go one lap without making contact. Your race leader hits the wall. Merriman right front hit the wall. That's going to be huge speed loss. Here comes Merriman. Here comes the 5 of Eiler to the inside. Turn number 1. Slider for the race lead. Eiler takes it back. Merriman crosses back underneath him down the back straightaway.
Side by side again, down the back stretch now, clear is Merriman. Merriman tries to park it in front of Eiler. Eiler tries to dime in the corner. A great exit for Eiler. Here comes the run as Merriman hits some bumps and hits the wall. Eiler back to the race lead, that time by the stripe. Coming up to 6 to go this time. Merriman trying to bounce back, can't do so.
And Braden Eiler, that might be all she wrote. Set the sails, and we'll see him later. Can he continue on without making any mistakes? He runs it pretty well right there. Taps the wall a little bit, but continues on as Merriman is going to try and work the inside of the speedway. We talked about that earlier, Justin. When does the bottom come in? Merriman knows he's got to try something different now.
Trying to that time around the bottom. This time tries the middle in 3 and 4 with the hard send. Having to really lift off the gas, though, off the corner. Eiler is rolling with 5 laps to go. He's setting sail. Picked up another 10th on the racetrack. As again to the bottom goes Merriman.
Kendall Tucker has gotten by Alex Bergeron for the 4th spot. The 00 car working the middle part now as the 12 car of Bergeron gets back around him on the outside. This is a good battle going on for P4. Bergeron falls back to 5th, and now Adam Elby. What a run for him. 11th up to 6th, and closing in on these two as they are really close down the front stretch.
They are not backing down at all. Bergeron parks the bus. Now he's got traffic to try and use as a pick possibly. Tucker now tries to dive it back underneath. Coming in towards 3 to go. Bergeron up top. Tucker tries to ride the middle line. Run for Bergeron. He two-wheeled it down the front.
Oh, man, this is a good battle between the driver out of Mount Airy, North Carolina, Kendall Tucker, and the driver out of Drummondville, Quebec, Canada, the number 12, Alex Bergeron. Bergeron, a really good corner right there, pulls 2 car lengths on the 00. There's the 33, the slower car of Lane Stevens. He is 1 lap down. They both make it by him off of turn number 4. No issues there. But Braden Eiler coming around to the white flag looking for his 2nd career victory in this series.
And that would put him in the multi-race winner club, obviously. Only a few drivers have been able to do so in their pro careers. But with the white flag waving, Braden Eiler looks to try and get his 2nd W in the sprint cars. He rides the bottom down out of turn 2. He's looked strong the past 15 laps. Only 1 more set of corners to get the job done.
Into turn 3 and off of turn number 4. The driver out of Franklin, Pennsylvania is going to get the win right here in Central PA. Braden Eiler wins at Williams Grove Speedway. He gets the job done for Elbows Up, Sin Sport, Roofco Indy, Wicked Brands, and BS Airlines. His 2nd career World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series World Championship victory here on iRacing.com comes at the Grove. Cameron Merriman will finish up in the 2nd spot with Logan Rumsey rounding out the podium here tonight. Alex Bergeron does wrestle away 4th from Kendall Tucker. Adam Elby in 6th. Braden Shooten 7th. Austin Selman in 8th. Landon Cardoza, good run for him in 9th. And in 10th, the number 25 of Tyler Ducharme.
Then in the 11th spot tonight, that is where the number 50 machine of Clayton Davies shuffled about. How about that finish, though? Look at that 1/1000th of a second between him and Ryland Gray. Looks like they had a battle and a half. Hayden Cardwell finished in 13th, a rough race for him. Tower Shell finished 14th. Greg Romay after his early trouble. Last on the lead lap 15th. The drivers laps down. Stevens, Sherman, Eden's a huge one. Yeager, he came back to the racetrack during the green flag run. Clayton Tilley, DNF'd.
Yeah, James Edens, we're going to have to take a look and see where the points shake out after that one. I mean, just a crazy series of events here tonight. But we're going to take a quick break and come back. We're going to talk to our top 3 finishers here tonight, Braden Eiler, Cameron Merriman, and Logan Rumsey, to hear their thoughts on what transpired on the track here tonight at Williams Grove. We'll be right back here with tonight's top 3 interviews.
greatest shows on dirt. World of Outlaw sprints, late models, and Super Dirt Car Series. You also get Dirt Car Summer Nationals and weekly shows from America's top tracks. Dirt Vision has the best all-around live coverage with flexible options for casual and hardcore fans. No commitments, cancel anytime, apps for most devices. Get your Fast Pass now at dirtvision.com. Every week, Dirt Vision brings you the best racing coverage from America's top tracks. You get high-speed thrills at the big half miles at Williams Grove, where the Pennsylvania Posse roams, and Knoxville Raceway, the sprint car capital of the world. There's also wheel-to-wheel action at Attica Raceway Park, Jacksonville Speedway's quarter-mile bull ring, and the tight turns at Huset's. Sprint cars are the main event, but there's plenty of other grassroots racing to satisfy every fan. See local drivers working to become the stars of tomorrow. Williams Grove, Knoxville, Attica, Jacksonville, Huset's. These tracks make up the weekly racing family, all season long on Dirt Vision.
Welcome back to continuing coverage of round number 5 of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series World Championship here on iRacing.com. We just wrapped up 35 laps of action here from the Williams Grove Speedway, and we have a now two-time series winner standing by with us now. It is the young driver out of Franklin, Pennsylvania. Braden Eiler gets the job done here tonight. And Braden, it's been a while since you visited Victory Lane, and we've shown a lot of speed on these big tracks in particular over the last couple of weeks. And now tonight, everything comes to fruition. I know you were saying earlier, I think it was on some kind of social media platform that looking to try and get the luck back here, and sure enough, you did. The car was super fast, and congratulations to you and your team. A huge job a huge win for you here tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, I almost blew it about 10 laps in. I was just waiting for the top to come in, and then I tried it like 2 laps before it was there and let Cameron by, and then I reeled him back in, made a move, and I about wrecked the thing by myself. But, finally calmed back down, was able to reel him in. I mean, that was nuts.
Yeah, take us through that little incident there. I thought you were about to tail swipe Cameron there and take you guys both out of the race, but able to hang on to it and track him back down. That was the most impressive part to me. I thought once you kind of got sideways that you probably weren't going to be able to track him back down, but it just goes to show how good your car here was tonight.
Yeah, I was getting prepared to start raging because I didn't think I was going to pull that thing back, and I surely would have felt terrible about wrecking Cam because he's in the championship chase, and he was also really fast. I would have really just took it from both of us, but I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm not glad that I did that, but we pulled it back. I was able to calm back down and run him back, man. I don't really know what to say.
Well, I can definitely say congratulations. And here tonight, there, Braden, me and Justin were talking about it. I thought that, in the series races here in the past, I feel like the bottom of the track was really the preferred line. And tonight, that really never became a factor. Was there something different about the track tonight? Was there something different that maybe happened throughout the race where the bottom really didn't come in?
I think the reset helped some of that, but the top's always been pretty good at Williams Grove. It's just not there as long as it is now. I just think with the new updates that the top seems to have a little bit more longevity in it, but really the bottom was probably quicker at the end, but I was out of fuel, so I went down there to save fuel, and here I am. I was holding pace on camera, and I was getting worried that it was going to be a repeat of Knoxville 2020 because that same thing happened. I got the lead, and it's like, shoot, we're not going to make it.
I was going to say, I thought I remember that race becoming a fuel race as well for you, but nonetheless, you come across the line in the first position here tonight and get the job done. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. I just got to thank everybody at Elbows Up. We put a lot of work in this week. All of our sponsors, Matthew Henniger at Wicked Brands, he's a great guy. Supports me through my whole sim racing career. Wicked Cushion, Just Logistics, BS Airlines, Flow Race, and everybody else that supports us. And I appreciate the Outlaws for putting up a cool series like this, and you guys for putting in all the hard work to be able to broadcast it to everybody.
Bray Nyler wins here tonight at the Williams Grove Speedway, driving the Elbows Up SimSport number 5. And right behind him, led a majority of this race here tonight, was the number 17 of Cameron Merriman. He's going to talk to Justin Prince.
Yes, indeed. And Cameron, 23 laps led for you tonight, but in the end, it's only a P2 run for you, one of your best finishes overall this season. First of all, talk us through the way the car felt and how that race seemed to progress, especially with the back and forth it seemed between you and Eiler for much of the middle portion.
Yeah, certainly. I think, that was good. That was a really challenging race right from the outset because the track prep, they decided to freshen up the track, so we had a wildly dynamic and fast-changing track throughout that race. And albeit I led for most of it, I think that Eiler was like hand over fist chasing me down for a large portion of it. And then we get to battling and he'd make a slight slip up or an error and he'd get into the wall, which would give me a buffer, 1 second, 1.3 seconds, whatever it was, and he would just run it back down. I was doing my best to manage that, but that said, I never really felt like I was the quickest one on the track, but I felt like if we really got the race and maybe I'd have a shot. But towards the end of the race, the track was pretty shot and it was clear he was much quicker. So I started trying something else, went to the bottom, saw if there was any pace down there, but it wasn't really matching what we were able to run up top. So yeah, I was second best car out there tonight, and not too sad about coming home second. But I think it should be noted that Braden definitely deserved to win. That was by no fault of my own. He just had a better setup and drove the track better. He was incredible on the top, and 3 and 4 especially would just chase me down. But overall, yeah, very exciting. Glad to put on a good show.
Curious in this as well because the size of this racetrack sees some of the longest lap times on the calendar in terms of the lap-to-lap basis. And for some drivers, it looked tight on fuel. In fact, Brady and I were mentioned, he started running the bottom because he was close on the gas. What was the fuel situation like for you, knowing how the mileage works out here? And keep in mind, it was just essentially one caution that ended up fairing out tonight early on.
Yeah, it's tough. I ended up coming across with more than half a gallon, so it wasn't actually too tight. I didn't have to go searching around the bottom for pace. I probably could have just kept ripping the top. But it's one of those interesting things where this track is obviously shaped like a paperclip, but the ends of the paperclip are so wide, so the distance around the outside, the very rim of the track, is much different than the inside. And most notably, when you're running the bottom, you're hardly on the throttle at all through the corners. You're really just feathering it and pedaling through the corner just to try and keep the balance of the car straight. So if you go look at the telemetry and do the calculations, you end up burning, I think it's significantly more than a tenth of a gallon per lap in difference. So if you multiply that by 35 laps, you're talking 3 or 4 gallons, which is 28 or 30 pounds of fuel. And the way that these cars work in this sim, that can actually be quite a lot of pace. So you have to be really precise and understand exactly, what lines you intend to run throughout the race so that you can make that projection for how much fuel to put in the car. It's one of the maybe it's one of the things that we don't capture the highest elements of realism in, but it definitely, just the way that the simulation works, where all the drivers can put in so many laps, the edges where you can gain on somebody are so insanely thin that it really does sometimes come down to how much fuel you put in the car. So, that decision becomes important, but, ultimately for me, I went with a pretty conservative approach and wanted to just give myself the opportunity to try and rip it and win the race. But I don't really feel like I lost it on fuel mileage, but I lost it instead on merit to Braden just being a better driver tonight.
Well, let me put it this way. Heard over in terms of some of the discussion with some of the drivers, he was at 0.1 for reference. But on the positive note, you're now the points leader. Your thoughts for the second half of the campaign, knowing you lead the championship now over Bergeron?
Yeah, we'll see. This is a really fascinating, model that we have with the car. They just introduced a new tire model that has a lot of interesting behaviors, and so a lot of people have been reset to ground one in terms of how to build the setups and work with the cars, especially throughout the track development. So last season I had a really strong second half of the season, ended up really making a charge after a few DNFs early in the season. So I'll try very hard not to think about it too much and just focus on what I did tonight, having a strong qualifying performance, doing well in the heat, and hoping that the stars align for the feature. Because once you get in your mind the point chase mode, you start making compromises, you start letting it get in your mind, seep into your decisions, and before you know it, you're in the wall or tangling with somebody else. So, very excited to be leading the points. I'm really sad for James Edens to have technical issues tonight. He had a phenomenal run in his heat race, so it's by circumstance that I found myself here, but obviously going to stay humble with the caliber of drivers around me and just focus on it week to week.
Congratulations on the podium once again.
Appreciate it.
Cameron Merriman, second place tonight. Another driver was close on gas. That was Logan Rumsey. He finished in third chase.
Yeah, another good run for the driver out of Manchester, Pennsylvania. Logan, your third top 5 finish in 5 races, and you are definitely going to leapfrog up the point standings quite a bit here. Just a really, really good start to the season for you after kind of struggling the last time you came out here in your rookie season.
Yeah, we definitely messed up a lot last year, and we're running pretty consistent this year. Evan and Blake were in front of me in the points there. They didn't make the show, so I knew I had to run pretty good. And James falling through on the grid definitely helped.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're now halfway through this season. Now, next week we head off to Knoxville. But then after that, you take a look at the schedule, and it's 3 in a row of pretty small racetracks. Are you excited to get kind of back to those quarter-mile and 3/8 mile tracks?
Yeah, I didn't really expect to do any good here on the big half miles, but the short tracks, it just depends. Anything could happen there. Everyone's fast.
Absolutely. Well, Logan, we always appreciate you talking to us. A phenomenal job so far this season, and we hope to see you keep it up. And maybe if you keep this up, you might be able to mix it up with Cameron Merriman and Alex Bergeron for the championship later on, huh?
Yeah, I'll keep trying just to get these top 5s and top 3s, but I just got to thank everyone at Slick Sim Sport for helping Peston all week. I felt really good going into the race due to them.
Absolutely. Logan Rumsey in the 41 car, the driver out of Manchester, Pennsylvania, finishes up in the 3rd position here tonight, his 3rd top 5 finish of the season. Well, Justin, another wild night of crazy things and mishaps with connection issues and whatnot, and now finds another driver at the top of the heap in the championship standings. Cameron Merriman has officially taken over the top of the championship point standings as we head off to Knoxville next week.
Yes, absolutely. And you mentioned that stretch of short track races coming up. That's going to be a very critical time because we've seen how crazy those races can be at times, but it's also to where if you aren't able to adjust the driving styles to factor things out for December 27th, should say, for Knoxville for the second half of the campaign, that's going to be very critical. But here's the thing to think about too. Drivers now have the chance to have a week to be able to take a deep breath and enjoy some of the holidays coming up. So a lot of action coming up for those drivers, especially knowing how important Knoxville is going to be, but also how important nailing that shorter track stretch is going to be at the start of January onward.
Absolutely. Well, like Justin said, we are going to take a week off. So next Monday, we will not be racing with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series here on iRacing.com. We will come back right there on December 27th at the Sprint Car capital of the world. That's Knoxville Raceway. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we've got here tonight from the Williams Grove Speedway. We appreciate you watching here on all of iRacing's various social media platforms and DirtVision.com. Want to thank Tyler Maxson. Want to thank my broadcast partner Justin Prince. My name is Chase Rodman. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time for more action with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series.